Jesus Christ. Welcome to the podcast, everyone, on this fine Thursday. My day doesn't matter. You literally don't care what day it is for me. My voice is cracking right now. Jesus Christ. I'm dressed, if you can't see me, I'm dressed like a young Catholic boy going to church on Easter Sunday. Got a nice suit on. I've decided to dress up for every podcast episode. No, I'm kidding. I would never do that. For you guys, for you bums, never dressing up. No, I just came back from my grandma's funeral. It's not a joke. She passed away last week. I mentioned it. I'm trying to keep the mood light. The wake was yesterday. I don't know what a funeral is. What's the proper word for when you go to the place that they're gonna bury her or put her in the mausoleum? I don't know. That's why I'm dressed up. I just got back. And I figured since I'm wearing good clothes, I might as well make myself look presentable before I take them off and start uh, putting sloppy joes in my mouth, just engorging my face with dirty meat, which is what I do the second I get home. But yeah, I don't know. I don't wear suits. I've never had to wear them for like jobs and stuff. Even when I was going for interviews, I would just show up in like a shirt and pant, like jeans. It was software engineering. When you have a job like that, they don't care whether you wear a suit. Nobody cares. The only people that care about suits are like Wall Street guys who are doing drugs in the bathroom and jacking themselves off, looking at themselves like Wolf of Wall Street people. That's you care about a suit then. Anyone else, like my dad, wears like shorts and like a Met shirt to work. He also owns his own company, but still, and like if I showed up to work at his office, well, that might be nepotism. I'd be like, okay, you can wear that because you're his son. He'd be fine. I used to show up at my job I wore Met shirts. One time, I think someone commented on my Met shirt. They were like, I forgot what I feel like they were insinuating that I like worked for the team or something. I'm like, no, I work here. What the heck? I can't wear a Mets shirt. Can't show my support. Yeah, the Mets are let me down a little bit. When this episode comes out, I don't know what. Hopefully, their season will still be alive, but they are losing 2 games to 1, which is not that bad. But what can you do? So I'm dressed nicely. Probably gonna take this off first. I don't know how to tie a tie. My tie is fucked up. Like it's just always angled to the side. I don't know any. I don't. I've never had to. I feel like most other times I've worn a tie, someone's tied it for me. And then yesterday I was like, I'm gonna try to do this from memory, and I did, but it's just like slightly fucked up. Like I keep having to like adjust it slightly, like pull it a little bit. So I think I did a fine job. I think I look fine, you know. But yeah, so funeral was today, and it was fine, you know. I don't. So funerals aren't really fun, but I feel like I don't want to say I had a good time. I had a good time talking with my family members. It wasn't very solemn. I guess when an old person dies, it's kind of like we expected this. Like if at my funeral, I feel like if I died like right now, I'm saying not later, but if I died right now while making this podcast and we had a funeral, that would be depressing, bro. That'd be so sad. Um, but yeah, I'm not gonna die. I'm in perfect health. I am the pinnacle of health. But yeah, it was fine. I mean, we drove around. I was following a hearse today. I didn't realize how much power you get when you drive behind a hearse because everyone just lets you go. Like we were just blowing through lights with we're like, yeah, we got following a dead body. I gotta go, gotta break traffic laws, just cutting in front of people. So that's kind of fun. I wish I could do that. I mean, just pretend you're always following a dead body. You can just go anywhere you want. I had a little funeral thing in the car, just like, hey, funeral here. Come on, we got a dead lady up there. Let me through. I'd be so pissed if I was driving and I just saw like 10 cars drive by. Oh, come on. If you don't see the hearse, you're just like, why are they all together? What is this like, this motorcade of cars? Like, is that Joe Biden up there? And then you see the hearse, you're like, it could still be Joe Biden. Does he drive around in a hearse? He probably does. Just think at any moment he could die. He's just ready to be in the hearse. But yeah, it was good to reminisce about grandma's life. I talked about her a little bit last time. I'm not gonna go into that detail. I just remember, I was with my cousins and such. Just my grandma's house is I'll just say it's awful. It's an awful house. It wasn't changed since like the 70s. She had no toys for the kids when we came over, so we just always played with like, well, she had toys. They were just from like the 70s and 60s. It was like the worst toys ever. For like back then they're probably fine, but for kids that had video games, like you can't go from video games to like. I remember she had like a wind-up blimp that you just like pulled back and then it went like really slow. That was the best toy she had. It's like, all right, I'm gonna go play with my blimp for 3 hours. So in order to pass the time, we would go into her backyard, which was it was a garden, but it was kind of like a jungle. It was like after she lost mobility and she couldn't go back there, it was truly a jungle. The neighbors would complain. It's just like weeds everywhere. Like you'd need a machete to get through. Fruits dropping, and then like all the animals would just rip the fruits open. It's like, oh, this fresh peach on her tree has like 85 holes in it. Just every species of worm digging through it. So we would go in the backyard and collect snails. That was our entertainment. We would go and collect snails, and we would build like out of paper plates. We'd build like snail gymnasiums that would outlast us for hours. This is the best thing. And just have these snails go around the house, and then when it's time to leave, I'd chuck the snails back in the backyard. Time to go. So that was pretty fun. I would recommend if any of you are bored and you have access to an abundance of snails, build a nice snail metropolis. They'll appreciate it. But yeah, the fruit in her backyard was always. She had grapes that grew back there, but they were so bad. They were so sour, like a million seeds. Probably grapes as God intended them. This is like the original strain of grape before we made it edible. And she had kukutsa is like a squash, but it grows really long. It's like a giant base. It's like a baseball bat a troll would use to beat the shit out of you, and it grows really long. It's not very good, but they would just grow it. It's more cool to show people, like, look at this big ass fucking squash, and they would grow that back there. They grew some useful things. I think they had tomatoes at some point, but it was mostly used for the snails in my mind. From what I remember, it was snail paradise, and it was the source of the entertainment. We did the same thing every time we went to grandma's house. And I guess my grandfather was alive then too. We play with some old toys, go in the backyard, then people would start fighting because we're stuck in a basement and we're going crazy. Then we go home and we rinse and repeat. So I had some good times there, and that's how it goes. So again, rest in peace. And yeah, enough sadness, enough to despair. I should rip these. I should have made this like a dramatic thing where I rip my shirt off and underneath is just the most fun shirt I own. I don't even know if I own a fun shirt. Just me smiling, like think positively. I have some inspirational posters in my apartment actually that I don't really show. I have one in the. It's not I have one in my bathroom that no one's ever commented on, and it's gigantic. It's like a shark eating a boy, and the kid's just like with the thumbs up in the shark's mouth. He's like, "Stay positive," and no one like people come into my apartment all the time, and no one's like nice poster. So I don't know if they like it. I'm actually self conscious about my shark, but I like it, so I'm gonna keep it there. But no one's ever came in and been like, "That's so cool," or they haven't said it's bad, but like, why would they say it was bad? They would just not talk about it. You know what I mean? So I don't think people like it. So it's kind of bothering me. So if anyone ever watching this comes into my apartment and sees my shark poster, just say something about it. I'm not taking it down. I'm leaving it there. I think it cost me. I don't remember how much it cost me. Probably a lot. I think it's cool. Anyway, staying positive. Getting a lot of Moo Deng and Pesto videos on my algorithm. If you don't know, Moo Deng and Pesto are baby animals, a hippopotamus and a penguin, respectively. Moo Deng is a chubby, little oily, greasy blob of a hippo baby. He's cute. I don't know why I described him like that. He looks like he's covered in oil. He's like wet permanently. And Pesto is a fucking obese baby penguin, an obese adolescent penguin that is just fluffy brown feathers, and he's like twice the size of his mom. And people just go to the zoo and take videos of them, and I mean it's pretty cool. Like they look cool. They're cuties. I was just thinking, at some point they're gonna grow old, and it might be like child actors when they get old and they just become like disasters, like Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan was the Moo Deng of her generation, and look where she ended up. Well, she's fine now, but there's plenty of other bad examples, like Demi Lovato, and I don't know. Demi Lovato might be fine now, but I don't even know what she. I don't even know her gender. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. This is not even like an offensive thing. I'm pretty sure at one point she was. I don't even know the words. Like she was. I think they them at one point. I'm not even trying to be offensive. I actually don't know. So Pesto could have a gender identity confusion in his future. Pesto could be a little bi-curious right now. I don't know what Pesto's doing, but Pesto is once Pesto loses that baby fur, and maybe he loses a little bit of weight too. No one's gonna even notice him. Like, wait, that was the guy? That was Pesto? We loved you back in '06. We loved you back in 24. He's gonna be like, yeah, I'm actually doing good for myself. I have my own mechanic company. We're like, no, do your favorite bit, Pesto. Do the Pesto shuffle. That'd be cool if they taught them little dances. Like you go to the zoo and just Pesto's like wiggling. Like, boop, boop, boop. I'm Pesto. Moo Deng would dance. I think Moo Deng would dance. But I don't even know where Pesto is. I think one of them's in like Switzerland, I think, and the other one's in Thailand, maybe. We don't get no good animals in the United States, I'll tell you that. We do, and then we kill them. Harambe was like, I'm going to make a name for myself. Pa, pa, pa. Brah. Gotcha, bitch. Harambe, yeah. So we need, especially in America where we're the land of obesity, we don't have any obese animals. That's kind of crazy. I don't know how Pesto got that big. He's actually gigantic. And he's like really tall, too. But he's a king penguin, not an emperor penguin. So I don't know if he's really going to be that big. But yeah, I hope good things for them. I hope they can rise above the I guess the I can't speak English any. Jesus Christ. Just rise above the trend of child superstar or child stars becoming bad adults. I can't even remember the last child star that became like a successful adult. Macaulay Culkin, I guess, but even him, not really. Is he married to like Brenda Song now? Sometimes celebrities don't make any sense. I feel like celebrities just feel like they have to marry each other, and it's like the weirdest people. It's like a pro wrestler marries like a Real Housewife. Like who are these people? Well, the Real Housewives are only famous because they're on the show. They're not real famous people, unless some of them are. Some of them are before. Anyway, are we talking about Real Housewives when we had obese penguins instead? I feel like other zoos are going to try copying them now. Thinking about we need to feed our penguins more. Look at the gift shop sales they're doing at the Pesto Zoo. Look at the sales. We need to feed our penguins more. I saw a video Pesto didn't even want to eat. He wasn't even that hungry. He might just be big boned. I'm calling this guy obese. This guy's just born that way. Lady Gaga wrote that song about Pesto. All right, I'm gonna hope I can speak English because I really butchered that last topic. I was rough. I need an English language course to really get me going. That was the worst part of the SAT for me. Like I did great in everything else, and then English, I still did good. Like relative to all the rest of you dumb people. No, I did good, but that part really held me back. I could have been superstardom if I was good at speaking English, but I'm not. What can you do? I actually had to read a prayer or a reading at the church. The good Catholic boy that I am, and I don't consider myself Catholic, but I volunteered to do a reading at the service for my grandmother. And I thought I did pretty fine, but, who knows? I was told they couldn't hear anything because the mic was echoing. My bad, guys. Not the best with microphones. This one took about 8 episodes to set up. I don't know. I do what the Lord tells me, and he was telling me to read a passage from the Book of Wisdom. A reading from the Book of Wisdom. That's how it goes. If you've never been to a Catholic church, it's not great. It's not very fun. But there is some reading sometimes, and maybe you can learn a lesson or two from them. Couldn't even tell you what my reading was about, I'll be honest. Written in old, translated English. He who sits on the throne of despair. Who knows? Anywho, I requested my remote ballot. I didn't realize we were still doing that. Got the my voter registration came to my parents' house and said, "Hey, you want to just send to your actual apartment?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to have to travel to vote." So I'm gonna get my remote ballot and then I'm gonna make 30,000 photocopies of it and send them all to vote for my new candidate. I am voting for the Presiduck. I've made that clear. I've made the decision in my mind. I'm writing in the Presiduck. The duck president, the Presiduck I'm voting for. My sister has agreed to vote for the Presiduck. I don't want to vote for any of the candidates. My vote in New York doesn't matter, for the record. I don't want to vote for Donald Trump for sure. And I would vote for Kamala Harris, but I don't really want to. Like, I'm not excited about it. So I think because I know my vote doesn't matter. If I knew my vote mattered, I'd probably vote for her. But my vote doesn't matter, so I will be voting for the Presiduck. And if there is a spot of write-in, I've never written a candidate. I've only voted once in my life. 2016, they threw my voter registration out, I believe, when I don't know, I signed up to vote when I went to college on my college campus, and then I never was actually registered. So, fuck them. I didn't get to vote in that pivotal election. Not that it mattered. But, yeah, so I am, we'll see. I don't want to have to, I would have to travel back home to Queens to vote, which I don't want to do. So I'd rather just put it in the mail, and then people, when someone loses or whoever, they'll be like, oh, the vote, we found 80 million votes under someone's couch. My grandma's couch had votes under it. There might be votes. Honestly, I don't even know if my grandma ever voted. I'll be honest. Don't even know if she can, I don't even know if not a clue what political party she would care about. That is a mystery. That woman I have no clue. I should ask my mom about that. I should ask my mom and then like reverse history and you can all try to cancel my grandma. Oh my god, she voted for Reagan in '72. Oh my god. I don't know, but yeah. So I'm gonna wreak havoc with this election. I'm gonna wreak havoc, and I keep getting tallies on my or like notifications on my phone. Like I always get push notifications for random news sources, like when One Direction singer Liam Payne passed away yesterday. Rest in peace, Liam Payne. Don't really know much about you besides is it your song "Slow Hands"? Is that yours? I'm not sure. Sometimes I don't know which One Direction person singing a song. There's three of them that are just the same person. That might be Niall Horan, but I was gonna sing a section of it. This is part of the funeral procession, but I'm not gonna do it. Rest in peace. But I got a notification for that, and I keep getting notifications every few days about like presidential interview. They're like, Donald Trump has done 73 interviews, while Kamala Harris has done 42. Like, when has anyone cared about this before? No one ever talks about this. Why is that a thing now? They're like keeping me updated as if that's the decision I'm gonna go with. Like, sure, I guess I'd like you to do more interviews, but I don't know. Like, if one president did like 100 and the other one did one, then maybe it'd be different. Like 70 to 40, okay, it's not that bad. I don't know. It's not a big thing for me. If one person's like talking about Moo Deng the whole interview, and the other person's talking about saving America, then it's a different interview as well. As one person's dancing on stage like this, doing the pesto shuffle. D. Trump's doing the pesto shuffle on stage, and someone else is talking about good stuff. It changes the interview. So I don't know. I don't really care. I just like the fact that they think I care is weird. Like what do I care about presidential interview tallies? Like it's a week before the election. She has yet to eclipse 50 interviews. Okay, who cares? I don't care. If you care, that's cool. Whatever. Some people care about weird things. Like this is not a weird thing to care about. Obviously, I think Donald Trump is an awful person. I truly think he's despicable. But I think this idea that like presidential candidates are supposed to be good people or they're like they don't have skeleton like it's a battle between good versus evil. Like I'm sure Kamala's not a great person. I've said this before. Like Bill Clinton, I would say is a bad person. If I had to say, I would agree he's a bad person. I think a lot of people would say he's a bad person. I don't think he's a very moral person. Probably some guy who thinks he can just get whatever he wants. And so to say to not vote for Donald Trump because he's a bad person, well, he's certainly done very bad things. But I think it doesn't mean as much to me because in my mind, I just don't think presidents are good people, even if they claim to be. Like Joe Biden can come out and be like, hey, I baked y'all a tray of cookies. My grandkids love me. Do I think he's that good of a person? Honestly, probably not. Wasn't there some accusations for him when he was running? There was like a lady that said he was, I don't know if it was the extent of the assault, but it was some sort of accusations, and then they just kind of went away. And so, there is some guy who claims he like slept with Obama. There's some man who claims he had like some gay romantic night with Obama back in the day. So I guess people accuse people of anything. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's just such a crazy conspiracy. He like goes on stage as an interview. I met Barack back in '05 at the hotel. We made love under the moonlight. We read poems together. He does so many. It was like a rabbit hole I went on. So yeah, in my mind, like, okay, like they're not really good people. I don't think good people want to be president. I think that's the thing. Good people want to go spend time with their family in the park. Good people want to go on a boat in the water and relax. Good people don't want to be sitting in the war room like figuring things out. That sounds like an awful life. I guess we'd like someone who has like a sense of duty that has good ideas and feel like I have to save America, which I guess Donald Trump claims he does, but I don't really believe him. But yeah, I think a lot of people that want to become politicians and such have something to gain, and they make profit off, like Nancy Pelosi or someone like that, who's selling stocks directly related to policy decisions and such. So yeah, it doesn't really bother me as much. I don't know. Maybe that's a deal breaker for a lot of people, but for me, it's really not that bad. Like, I'm sure many presidents have just murdered people, straight up assassinated people. We're like, oh, it's fine. Joe Biden's probably killed someone, straight up. I'm going to say right now, Joe Biden, I would bet money that he's killed somebody. Not like personally. He's not like The Undertaker. Joe Biden is John Wick, but like he's been like, hey, that guy, I don't like him. He didn't make my pancakes right. I told Jill I want maple syrup on my pancakes. He didn't make it right. Take him out. So that is my Jimmy Carter, actually. I wrote him down in the paper. He might actually be a nice guy. Jimmy Carter is dead, by the way. Like, if you literally look at a video of him, he's dead. He's waiting for this election just so he can say he voted. He's literally dead. Every video is him just like, I don't even know if he's breathing. He looks like SpongeBob's grandma just coming out. Is that SpongeBob's grandma? No, there was like a... What is the SpongeBob thing with the spinal cord? That might be SpongeBob's grandma. Or, yeah, his mom is the other one that actually looks right. He doesn't look good. But everyone always like, oh, he's just a nice guy. I don't think people think he was a good president, but he's just a peanut farmer. He's just a nice guy. I don't know how he talks. I was going to do a Joe Biden voice, but I don't think it's him. Just a Georgian peanut farmer who, his wife died, rest in peace. And he's probably going to go pretty soon. But, yeah, he doesn't look good. Does not look good. And if you need me to do a reading at Jimmy Carter's funeral, I'll do it. Because, again, I think he might be a good person. George Washington probably killed more people than any other president. He's probably killed so many. Maybe Andrew Jackson, like that man was sadly slaughtering Native Americans. They hate that man. Rightfully so. There's a lot of reasons to hate U.S. presidents. Okay, on from the political talk. We always have a section. Man, I can't wait for this election to be over. Holy crap. I don't really care who wins at this point. I've decided in my mind it doesn't make that much of a difference, but I think it could make a difference a little bit. But I really don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. I think there's going to be a lot of uproar in the beginning, and then it's kind of happened last time. It's like, I don't know. The problems really come out the last year of the election, which makes sense. They're kind of just like manufacturing problems for any candidate just to cause controversy so we change our vote. I don't know. It's all just the media. I don't want to sound like a media guy, but you got to find the true facts. Hey, I have this good website, truthfinder.com, where they tell the real truth. I know a guy lives out of a van by the river. He tells the real truth. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is coming out. That is the truth. I keep seeing ads for that. I have played Call of Duty, I think, once in my life. I've never owned an Xbox. I've never owned a PlayStation. I think I've said that before. I've never played Black Ops. Maybe I have once. I'm not good at it. I don't even know. The controller feels wrong in my hand. It just feels like I'm doing something wrong. So I'm just here to comment on why they've not come up with a new name. Why is Black Ops the final name? We're just gonna add numbers to that's kind of lame. They used to have other like Call of Duty Modern Warfare. They had all those those are cool names. Like make another name. Black Ops is a cool name too, but like Black Ops 6, there's 6 of them. I remember Black Ops came out when I was in middle school. We got 6 now. That's crazy. I guess like other games like Mortal Kombat is just like a number too, but it's kind of late. Come up with a cool name, guys. I feel like it sells better when you have a cool name. Like Call of Duty Russian Interference. That's not right. Call of Duty Election Machine Interference. Call of Duty January 6. Those would not be fun. They might be fun. I guess they can make a January 6th game. That wouldn't be that fun. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it's going to be a great game. Have fun, anyone who's playing it. I'm sure all the ladies watching this podcast are like, I am down for Call of Duty 6. You're going to have to learn it. You're going to have to sit there while your boyfriends play like, oh my god, he's ignoring me for this fucking Call of Duty game. That was my woman's voice. That was not good. Not a good woman's voice. But yeah, I don't even know how to talk about this topic. Someone sent me a DM last week, I think. And it's just the profile picture was just a picture of boobs. And so I clicked on it. I clicked on it because I was like, okay, interesting. But it wasn't like there's clear porn scammer people that send me messages. It's clear like OnlyFans people that are just trying to like bait lonely guys. It was someone else. It was like a real person. And I forget what the message. It was like so over the top. I forgot what it said. Something just vulgar. Like I want you to be inside me right now. Something like that. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like I wasn't gonna answer it, but I clicked on the profile, and just the first thing was like, it just was like I think it was like 16, and then like it said like high school on it, some high school. And I was like, this is someone baiting me because they think that I would fall for this pedophilia scam. I got so offended someone thought that I was a pedophile. It's like, you really think that I'd be interested in this? I just got so offended. Not that like I would. Like obviously I wouldn't. But I was just like, someone like, because you don't just send that like in my mind. If I'm a pedophile hunter, we've talked about them in perpetuity. We've talked about them before. That's not the right word. Jesus Christ. We've talked about them before. How I think they're kind of just going after like mentally disabled people, and I saw a video of like they're just like punching a guy in the face in like a Walmart. Like, what are you guys doing? You guys are almost just as bad as the pedophiles. But in my mind, they like if they were fishing for like, I'm not a celebrity, but well-known people, they'd only go after people like you're not gonna send that to like, I don't know, you're not gonna send it to fucking Chris Hemsworth. You're not gonna send a 16-year-old thing. So I don't know, I was just offended that they sent that to me. It's like, God damn it, you really think I would be a pedophile? Oh my God, I have to change my image now. That's why I'm wearing the suit. Like a pedophile wouldn't wear a suit. They'd be nicely dressed. So I deleted the message. I probably should have. Like it's 1,000% someone fishing. It's not a real person. It's not a real girl. If it was a real girl, go to church, go back to school. Do not send weird messages to adult men. That is inappropriate, and I'm sure there's probably a man that would accept that, and that is a problem. That is, well, it's really not your fault, I guess, as a child. Children are stupid, as we said multiple times. Children are stupid, and it's not their fault. But, yeah, so that just ruined my day that someone thought I was a pedophile. But I'm not, guys. I'm going to assure you that I'm not. I guess pedophiles do say that, though. Sadly, you really can't get a good gauge on whether someone's a pedophile unless they go their whole life without touching a child. So I guess I got to start the streak now. I started the streak a while ago. All right. Well, you know what I'm saying, guys. Digging the hole as usual. I saw a video of some identical twins, I think maybe on Twitter. And I was just thinking, like, the twins looked different, but they're identical. And it made me realize, like, like parents or people always complain about telling identical twins apart. I'm a twin, by the way, if you didn't know. I am a fraternal twin, my brother. We look different. It's a fraternal twin is as if we're just regular brothers, but we were born at the same time. So we look different, but also very similar because we're brothers. But yeah, identical twins. I just was thinking, why don't parents make one of them fat to identify them? That would solve so many problems. Just feed one of them way more food than the other one. So like, yeah, that's the fat twin. That's the skinny twin. It's like Bert and Ernie. You can tell them apart so easily. It would make so much sense. Like, okay, Mark is the fat one. John is the skinny one. Okay, hey, Mark, how's it going? It'd be so easy. And then when they're adults, they can lose the weight, but you just you control them until they're 18. You control them. You go, hey, John, go in the other room. Mark's getting his eating time now. Mark has to finish your meal. You get a third of Mark's meal. Mark gets 2/3 of your meal. That would fix all the problems. I'm a visionary, really. So if I have identical twins, I'm gonna make one of them. I don't know if I'm gonna make them obese, but one of them's gonna be a little fatter. And he's not gonna be able to control it. He's gonna have no say in the matter. I'm gonna give him extra lunch money, like get you something nice. Those cookies, get a couple extra cookies every day. Get some chocolate milk. Oh, chocolate milk. That's how you get the kids fat. Pump that in. I'll have a chocolate milk little hamster tube above my kid's bed, above Mark's bed. I don't know why my kids are Mark and John. There's just biblical names. I'm not naming them that. I'm not naming them that. I don't like those names. But he's gonna be a real chubster. Mark's gonna be. I'll bring him breakfast in bed. I'll be like, hey John, go make your own breakfast. John, you need to be skinny. Mark is not fat enough, and it'll be beautiful. I mean, it's a foolproof plan, honestly. I guess they could also get like a tattoo, like, but you can't tattoo your kids. That's not right. I was gonna say like forehead tattoo. Hey, I'm Mark, or something. They can have different hairstyles. I've known a lot of identical twins. I've never really been good friends with them. But my high school had like 3 or 4, I feel like 3 or 4 sets of identical twins. It was kind of, there was like very few other fraternal twins, but there was a lot of identicals. And then in my college, there was these 2 kids that were identical, and they went to the same, I feel like college in my mind, like my brother and I went to different colleges. It's the place where you're finally able to just escape a little bit and like make your own identity. So I feel like that would be a good excuse to do that. Like my brother and I went to school. They never put us in the same class. They did actually. In freshman year of high school, we were in the same class for the first time ever. We had a few classes, and then we never were after that. But I think the incident was that one time my brother copied my homework, and he just blatantly just wrote the exact. I think he changed the first sentence, and our teacher was just like, "Look, he's like, obviously he's gonna check." He's like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Bro, come on, why'd you just copy the exact same thing?" He's like, I was just lazy. So the teacher was probably like, all right, separate these bitches. Separate these goons. They're not allowed together. Which is the right decision, probably. But, yeah, it's kind of crazy. We were just sequestered. Always kept apart If we were together, our strengths would have combined. We'd become a mega. Well, we ate lunch together. You know, we were still friends. But it's hard. It's hard to be friends with a lot of people that aren't in your classes sometimes. It's tough. But yeah. So think about that. If any of you are watching this with identical twins and they're young babies, think about giving one of them a little bit of extra milk. Think about a little bit of extra sucking time for one of the boys. Make sure you remember which one it is, so they get a little bit more meatier. Just 20% heavier is good enough. A little bit pudgier. They don't have to be obese. I'm going overboard, but I want to make sure that people know. The what do you do for a living people are real familiar with those people. The people that go up to you on the street. They go up to people in the street, and they're like, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" Or they ask some questions like that. I'm not a fan of those things. I'll be honest. I think it's kind of. I guess all the street interviews in my mind are kind of lazy, but I think it's funny when like. A lot of those videos are set up for the record. Like I think most of them probably are. But I think it's funny when the person walking down the street is like, "Hey, I know you. You're that guy from the internet." To the what do you do for a living people? It's like there's like 10 of these people. You don't know who they are. No one knows their names. Who are the what do you do for a living people? I'm not a clue who they are. No one knows any of the street interviewers' names. Like I guess a few of them, but most of the time no one cares. You just like you get a lot of followers, but no one really knows who you are. Like the guy who interviewed the Hawk Tuah girl. Who the fuck is that guy? I don't know. The hell? Like he's probably like, I interviewed the Hawk Tuah guy. Like that's my claim to fame. What did you do? You asked her the question. I guess you could be funny doing that. Like I'm not gonna say you can't be funny, but most of the time you're kind of gaining, notoriety off someone else's funniness in the interview or something. Which, to some extent, I am too when I make a video reacting to something. There's like a sense of like I'm kind of piggybacking off something else, but I like to think it's like I'm adding the funny part. I'm taking a weird, interesting video and adding the funny part instead of like someone else adding the funny part while I'm just like next to them being like, hey, great. But yeah, the what do you do for a living people? I guess there could like you could just do that right now. Like if any of you are thinking of a job to do, literally just get a camera and go on the street and say, "What do you do for a living?" You'd probably get like 100,000 followers in a few months. You can just ask them any question. Just like find a weird question, just keep drilling that question. Probably 100,000 followers. I would think it's pretty easy, but that's got to be your career. And then how do you monetize that? Fuck if I know. The fuck if I know. I don't know. Or like, can I see your apartment? Those are all have to be staged. Not letting a random person in this apartment. Well, unless they want to compliment my shark poster, then I'll let them in. Hey, you like sharks? I'm asking them leading questions. Hey, you like the movie Jaws? Oh no, not a fan. Interesting. You like teeth? You like blood? But yeah, that could be my job if this goes bad, if comedy goes bad, if I'm actually not funny and you guys were just gaslighting me this whole time. That would be impressive. Yeah, I could just be an interview guy. You'd be like, "Hey, you used to be the guy that we all pretended to be funny." Yeah, no, I just do this. What do you do for a living? Thinking of my job, I could do that. I could do an interview thing, or I always wondered what it would be like to just sell things on eBay as a job. You ever think about that? That's someone's job, just going to like estate sales or garage sales, just finding something and relisting on eBay. Such a fun job. It's such like a useless job, but it's such a fun job. Just like reselling things. Like there's always a story. Like I think they're fueled by stories. Like even the Storage Wars people. We're like, oh, this guy found like a Ming Dynasty pot in this garage sale. It's worth $5 million. That fuels people. And then you go to a garage sale, it's like some old guy's underwear. Like, we want $10 a pair. If you buy 10, we'll give you it for $5 a pair. Okay. It's just garbage. But people make a living doing that. And it seems kind of like fun, just like having a warehouse with just a bunch of junk that you resell on eBay. One man's junk is another man's treasure. And I could make a living reselling junk. I used to do that when I was younger in like middle school. I think middle school and like the first year of high school, I was really big into like Pokemon cards. Back when I was a wee lad. I mean, I still enjoy Pokemon. I'm a nerd at heart, but I would like resell them, and I would just buy like on eBay. I would just go after school. I remember and just like find. I didn't have that much money to my name. I was working with like maybe a few $100s at most, and I would find like these lots of cards, and then I would get them and I would like resell them separately and make. I didn't make a good amount of money, but I wasn't really caring. It was more just like for fun. It was fun. Because sometimes I find some good stuff. Like I had some really good finds. And if I sold them now, like back then, things were worth so much less. Nowadays, some of these things that I remember some cards I had, and there's like the if you know anything about trading cards, which I don't know really anything anymore, but I remember from back then. There's like this authentication service that'll grade your card too, PSA, and I had a subscription at 14. I had a subscription, and I would send my cards in. It's like this little kid sending his cards in, and some of them were like they would get good grades, but back then maybe if they graded like a 10, it was worth like $100. Now they're worth like thousands of dollars. So if I had saved them, I guess a lot of things increased in value in like 10 years, but Pokemon cards did really well. I think I was a visionary to some extent. I had a lot of cool stuff, and I did actually have a bunch. I remember I saved a bunch, and then after I graduated from college, like during COVID, I was like, I should sell this because like might as well. Like it's just sitting here. So I pretty much sold it all, and then like literally like it was like around the time when people were getting their what were they called, like the COVID checks, like just getting the bonuses. There was a word for it, stimulus checks. Yeah, I was gonna say the stimmy, getting them stimmies, and then the Pokemon market just shot. I remember just looking at it. I was like, I just sold this thing a month ago. Now it's worth like 3 times as much. I was like, what the fuck? Like, god damn it. Why can't do anything right? So I own a couple things still. For some reason, I decided to buy back in at one point, but nothing crazy. So I guess I missed out, but it was fun. Like if that was my life, if I was a Pokemon seller, like it'd be kind of cool. I don't think I'd be get much female attention that way on a first date. Like, hey, so what do you do? You like Charizard? I'm actually I have a big Charizard collection. You can come to my apartment, check it out. But I think they're cool. And I mean, nowadays there's so many. I don't even know what the new game is like. Scarlet and Violet, I want to say. So I'm sure there's cards for that. Haven't opened a Pokemon pack in a long time. I would love to for fun. But yeah, I don't like owning things. So like once I got the cards, I'd be like, what do I do with these? I don't want them. But yeah, that would just be a fun life. Such a simple life. I guess you don't get health care, but I also don't have health care through my job now. I don't get podcast health care. You guys are not paying for my insurance. So yeah, I have to justify that. And like I'm also a software engineer, right? And I minored in robotics, so somehow I could merge the two, like a robotic. Like I was always thinking, like maybe I could make with AI. I probably could like something that went on eBay and just scanned through all of the listings. I think nowadays it doesn't make sense because the market's so saturated. But back in the day, it just found the good cards and the listings and then just automatically bid on stuff, so I didn't have to do that work. That'd be kind of cool. But those are childhood dreams. That was my childhood dream when I was a 13, 14-year-old boy, which is a pretty good dream. I could have way worse dreams. Other 14-year-old boys are dreaming about women. I was dreaming about Pokemon and making money. Such is life. You can see how I turned out the way I am right now. That makes a lot of sense, man. You do look like a young kid that would just only talk about Pokemon. And I did. But yeah, I'd love to go to someone's estate sale and just find like an amazing item and just sell it. But I would go for fun, honestly. I feel like that's a girlfriend activity. All leads back to me needing a girlfriend. Just like to go to an estate sale and just like look at some people's junk and then buy nothing and they're depressed. I guess my grandma's house is empty with junk in it. Perhaps there's some valuables in there, but I'm not trying to ransack my grandma's house. Oh, she has a Ming Dynasty pot, this old Italian woman. Maybe she has like a Roman pot or something. Probably not. Julius Caesar's jockstrap she actually owns. That's crazy. I didn't know you were such a handy woman. Yeah, dumpster divers too. That's a fun job. If you find cool stuff, like some stores, the amount of stuff they throw out is crazy. Like restaurants too, just like I don't know. That seems wrong. Like the day is over. Like, oh, we got stale donuts. Let's just dump them. Just like they're not that bad. The donuts, it's not like they're inedible donuts. Just like slightly old donuts. People will eat them. There's starving people out there. People throwing out like brand new clothing and stuff. I don't know. It's just crazy. The amount we waste in this country is insane. And I'm no better, really. It's like I waste a lot, but it's just tough when you think about it. I don't waste a lot of stuff. I guess I waste a lot of food sometimes. Well, when I make a weird food video, I guess I have to because I'm not eating that shit. Not eating some disgusting food. But I don't know. It's tough to think about. I can't really give... Like, if I make food and I don't want to finish it all, I can't really give it away. Like, Dunkin' Donuts makes donuts and they have extra. They can give it away. That's like sanitary food. I can't give away, like, leftover, like, piece of chicken I made. Like, hey, you want my chicken that I bit into? They're human beings. They're not like dogs. So these people deserve like some quality food. I'm gonna give them anything. Yeah. I think I need a new credit card. Is what I was thinking about. I feel like I don't have an adequate enough credit card. I think I'm behind the times. I have a 2% cashback card, which at one point was like the premier one. Everyone's like, you need the 2% cashback, so I got it. But now there's just like extra. I could be getting 3% on things. I could be earning travel points. I could be earning miles, millions of miles. I could be earning so much, and I'm not. And I'm just kind of lazy. I just use my one card, and I have a card for rent, which is pretty useful. Like there's the built credit card that you get points back for rent, which is it's great honestly. But just in other I'm just not. I see people whipping out these fancy cards, and I'm like, shit. I got my lame ass 2% cashback card, which I haven't even used. I feel like I have $500 in rewards that I need to use. I don't know what to use it on. I got to figure that out. I've been told not to use it against your statement. Such an adult conversation. How do you roll over your cash back? Do you apply it forward to your annual tax income? This is like a kids making fun of adult conversations. Your 401k, do you mortgage that or do you high interest leverage that? Yeah, I don't know what to do. I feel like a few percentages make all of the difference, especially as someone who's not really earning that much income right now. Like I'm really not from this job. I'm relying on my previous self being a genius, amazing, superhuman being. Like the money I have should be earning a lot of interest to keep it around for longer. So it's important to be getting cash back when I can. And I don't really think my credit score matters. And my credit score's fine. It's like 700 something. I feel like that's a good credit score. You know, what can I say? I'm a well balanced individual, responsible young adult. You can see my suit and tie. A guy that looks like this would not have a lower than 700 credit score. It's just not possible. So I'm trying to make myself seem like an eligible bachelor. Ladies, I may not have a job, but I do have a 700 credit score. And I do have a brown tie made of silk. This is actually Puro Europa Boutique. Pure silk. Pure silk made in Italy. Ooh, damn. Exotic. They could say I was made in Italy too, but I wasn't. But my grandma was. And back to her somehow. All right, one more thing. I gotta drink this water. We were technically banned from drinking water in the funeral place, but I was bringing that cup in. It looked like I was sipping lean almost. It was just like with my cup with ice, chilling by the side. Like, yo, what's good? What's good, other grandma? Nice to see you. All right, I'll stop talking about that. I'm trying to. It does feel bad. Like I remember at certain points we were chatting. Like, I was at the funeral parlor yesterday for like 6 hours. So at a certain point, it's sad in the beginning, and then like, okay, like we have to converse to pass the time. And I remember just like telling jokes and laughing with people, and like, wow, my grandma's right there. She would want us to laugh. Like, I remember they nowadays at funeral parlors they have like or this is the first time I went, but they had like a side room for snacks. So we had it like catered. We like catered the funeral. So we went to the side room and started eating. I was the first one to eat. It's like, should we start doing this? But then I remember every time I go to my grandma's house, she's always like, eat. She would try to force food down my throat. She's like, please, you want some grapes? You want some? So she can't get mad at me for eating at her own funeral. The food's right there. What, am I going to let it go to waste? I got to eat, Grandma. It's the most Italian sentence I've ever said. You want me to eat? Mangia, mangia. You want me to eat? I'm going to eat at your funeral. So I did that. But, yeah, the room with the snacks looked like a war zone when we left. It's like, we had cookies, too, just like crumbs all over the floor. Like, Jesus Christ. Do not bring those crumbs into Grandma's room. Yeah, what was I trying to talk about? Oh, I ordered some meat on Amazon, which I didn't know I could do. I just was like, let me just see if they have it. You can just order meat on Amazon, which seems wrong. I'm not going to do it again. I ordered it was weird meat. It was for a video that's coming up. A Matt Hates Food video, which my favorite series. We have some weird meat, but I was like trying to find it in some exotic food store, and I was like, does Amazon have it? And they did. It was free shipping. These exotic food stores charge like tens of dollars. When I had my snake and pigeon shipped to me, it was like $100 for shipping. It's like the biggest ripoff ever. But Amazon was free. I just got a sack of meat delivered to my door. Just tossed. It's like a little Amazon parcel tossed meat. but it feels weird. And I was thinking, I need toilet paper. I have on my last roll. It's like, should I buy that on Amazon too? Like some things just seem wrong. They seem wrong. I think I bought paper towel. I actually did buy toilet paper on Amazon. Whoops, my bad. I did it before. Some things just seem so wrong, and I'm gonna do it at some point, probably again. But we can't be in a society where we have to buy meat on Amazon. You're buying groceries on Amazon. What is this? What is this life? Getting steaks. Like the Amazon drivers are gonna control my life. They're gonna kill themselves first of all. The amount of packages they have to deliver. I already feel bad for them. Amazon's going crazy. But I don't even think it was through them. I think it was like they're just the interface for another website. Because it was shipped via FedEx. I never get Amazon packages via FedEx. But it was weird. So if you want some meats, you want some exotic meats, I'm a big exotic meat guy. I love the meat, as I just licked my lips there. Interesting. You can go on Amazon, for the record. I should have like a referral code. You guys can just buy meat through me. But it's not going to happen. When I ate those soaked donuts in that video, and then someone said they were sold out on the website, I was like, God fucking damn it. If only I was making a commission off this shit. Could have been killing. I could have been living life right now. Could have. Who knows? I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about all the money that slipped through my hands. My greedy, grubby little hands. Grubby little Roman Catholic hands. All right, that is it. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you all for watching. Again, if you want to support the podcast, you can go to meetsangria.com. You can buy a Save the Carrot Meister hat. I guess I should have worn it right. I should have worn it during the podcast, but it didn't fit with the rest of my outfit. I should have worn it to my grandma's funeral. She actually, I feel like she loved carrots. There's a story where she made a chicken noodle soup and she just put a whole carrot in there. She wouldn't cut up her vegetables. She just put like whole carrots, whole celery sticks. Interesting recipes from Italy. Interesting recipes from poverty-stricken Italians in the mountains. They made interesting food. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Love your family members. Love yourself. Have a nice weekend, everyone. Have a nice week. And peace.